Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The year 1957 marks a pivotal moment in the history of linguistics. It saw the publication of Syntactic Structures by Noam Chomsky, a work that would irrevocably transform the study of language and, by extension, our understanding of the human mind. Before Chomsky, the dominant trend in linguistics was behaviorism, a school of thought that viewed language as a learned response, a set of habits acquired through stimulus and response. This perspective, largely influenced by the work of B.F. Skinner, focused on observable behaviors and eschewed the notion of innate cognitive structures. The prevailing descriptive approach, epitomized by the structural linguistics of scholars like Leonard Bloomfield, concentrated on cataloging and analyzing the surface forms of language, primarily concerned with classifying phonemes, morphemes, and syntactic patterns. This approach, while meticulous in its description, offered little insight into the underlying mechanisms that generate linguistic creativity, the ability of humans to produce and understand an infinite number of novel sentences. Chomsky's syntactic structures directly challenged these prevailing paradigms. He meticulously laid out a formal framework for analyzing syntax, moving beyond simple descriptive analysis to explore the underlying generative rules that govern sentence formation. This generative approach, a departure from the prevailing descriptive linguistics, proposed that a finite set of rules could generate an infinite set of grammatical sentences. Chomsky introduced the concept of a transformational grammar, a system that begins with a set of phrase structure rules that generate basic sentence structures or kernel sentences. These kernel sentences then undergo transformations, such as passive voice, question formation, or negation, to produce the more complex sentences characteristic of natural language. The central claim was that these transformations are rule-governed, operating on underlying structures to produce surface forms. A cornerstone of Chomsky's argument was the inherent creativity of language. Humans are constantly producing and understanding sentences they have never encountered before. This capacity, he argued, could not be explained by a simple stimulus response pool. Instead, it required a system with the capacity to generate an infinite number of grammatical sentences from a finite set of rules. This emphasis on creativity stood in direct opposition to the behaviorist constraints that saw language as a matter of conditioned responses to external stimuli. Further, syntactic structures introduced the concept of recursion, the ability of a rule to apply to its own outboard. This principle enabled the generation of sentences of indefinite length and complexity. The work provided formal tools for analyzing syntactic structures, including phrase structure rules, transformations, and the concept of deep and surface structure. Deep structure contained the underlying meaning of the sentence, while surface structure was the actual spoken or written form. These two strata, connected by transformational rules, represented a radical shift. The way linguists conceived of the relationship between meaning and the immediate impact of syntactic structures was profound. It sparked a revolution in linguistics, shifting the focus from the descriptive to the generative. The book's formal approach, with its emphasis on explicit rules and mathematical precision, offered a new framework for the analysis of language. It also provided a methodology for testing hypotheses about linguistic structure. Chomsky's work gave rise to transformational grammar, generative semantics, and other theoretical frameworks that dominated linguistics for decades. The impact permeated beyond linguistics. The cognitive revolution, which emphasized the importance of mental processes in understanding human behavior, found a powerful ally in Chomsky's work. The book's ideas resonated with cognitive scientists, psychologists, and philosophers, as it offered a scientifically rigorous foundation for investigating the cognitive underpinnings of language. The immediate applications of Chomsky's framework were also notable. The formal rigor of the system allowed for the development of computer programs that could process and generate natural language. This spurred research in computational linguistics and artificial intelligence, laying the foundation for early natural language processing systems. The generative framework provided a model for analyzing the language acquisition process in children, leading to new insights into how children acquire the complex grammatical rules of their native language. Syntactic structures, however, was not without its critics. One of the main criticisms revolved around the perceived complexity and abstractness of the transformational grammar system. Some linguists found the framework difficult to apply to the analysis of real-world languages. The focus on idealized grammatical competence rather than actual language usage led to criticism. Critics argued that Chomsky's focus on syntax had overshadowed semantics and pragmatics, key areas in language comprehension. Despite these criticisms, the book's influence on linguistics was largely unchallenged. The debates engendered by syntactic structures spurred further advances in linguistic theory. The work prompted revisions and refinements, leading to the development of extended standard theory and government and binding theory, also developed by Chomsky. These later theories, while building upon the foundation laid in syntactic structures, attempted to address some of the criticisms, incorporating semantic considerations and exploring the role of universal grammar. The original book, however, remained a landmark. The intellectual lineage of syntactic structures is complex, but several key influences can be traced. Chomsky acknowledged the influence of Zelig Harris, his mentor, whose work on distributional analysis provided a framework for analyzing linguistic data. However, he diverged from Harris' empiricist approach. The philosophical work of Wilhelm von Humboldt, who emphasized the creative aspect of language, also played a role. Humboldt's concept of inner form of language, emphasizing the innate capacity for grammatical understanding, anticipated core aspects of Chomsky's theories. The mathematical work of Emil Post was also a significant influence. Post's work on formal systems provided Chomsky with a model for developing a formal grammar. The influence of Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorems is also cited as relevant to the development of Chomsky's theories. The emphasis on the limitations of formal systems informed Chomsky's understanding of language. The enduring legacy of syntactic structures lies in its paradigm shift. The shift to generative grammar changed the very nature of linguistic inquiry. Before 1957, the focus was primarily on describing language. After 1957, the primary goal was to explain language, to understand the underlying cognitive mechanisms that allow humans to produce and comprehend language. This shift set the stage for extensive research into language acquisition, language processing, and the relationship between language and thought. Chomsky's work spurred research in areas such as computational linguistics, cognitive science, and philosophy of mind. The concepts he introduced, like deep structure and surface structure, transformational grammar, and universal grammar, have become foundational concepts in many fields. The impact of syntactic structures extended beyond the purely scientific. The book's emphasis on the innate capacity for language challenged behaviorist views of the human mind, contributing to the rise of cognitive science. Chomsky's work offered a powerful tool for understanding the mind. The concept of universal grammar, the idea that all human languages share an underlying set of fundamental principles, has had a profound influence on the study of human cognition. The book also played a role shaping civil and political discourse, as Chomsky argued that the ability to use language is fundamental to human freedom. The influence of syntactic structures on subsequent work has been far-reaching, and its impact continues to be felt today. Subsequent linguists incorporated and refined Chomsky's insights. The work of Maurice Howell, who, with Chomsky, co-authored The Sound Pattern of English, developed a comprehensive framework for analyzing phonology, further advanced the generative approach. The work of George Lakoff and James Macaulay, though they diverged from Chomsky's later work, were trained in the generative framework and made seminal contributions to semantics and pragmatics. The development of formal syntax in computer science owes a great debt to the formal rigor introduced in syntactic structures. Theoretical linguists continue to explore the concepts of universal grammar, the nature of syntactic rules, and their cognitive implications. The work continues to influence research in cognitive neuroscience, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and other techniques used to investigate how the brain processes syntactic structures. The legacy of syntactic structures also extends to educational practices. The principles of generative grammar are used in developing language teaching methods. In conclusion, Syntactic Structures by Noam Chomsky is more than just a seminal work in linguistics. It signifies a watershed moment in our understanding of the human mind. By challenging the prevailing behaviorist paradigms, Chomsky introduced a new framework for the study of language that emphasized innate cognitive structures, the creativity of language, and the power of formal rules. This book revolutionized linguistics, propelled the cognitive revolution, and continues to shape research in diverse fields. Its impact is undeniable. The book's emphasis on generative grammar created a profound paradigm shift, transforming descriptive approaches into explanations of language capacity. Syntactic Structures remains a testament to the power of intellectual innovation to reshape our understanding of the world and our place within it.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.